The curtains of the AGT stage loomed like giants, heavy and red, swallowing the sounds of the buzzing crowd beyond. Jessica Sanchez stood just a few steps away, her hands resting gently on the swell of her 8-month belly. Every movement inside her reminded her she wasn't walking onto that stage alone, her daughter was coming with her. Her breathing was uneven, not from stage fright, she'd faced audiences before, but from the weight of everything this moment represented. The years of faded spotlights, the rejections, the whispers of "she had her chance already," haunted her like old ghosts. She pressed her palm against her belly and whispered, "We've got this, baby girl." Her fiancé squeezed her shoulder from behind. "Sing like it's the last time anyone will ever hear you." The producer's hand signaled her forward. Her heart thudded so hard it echoed in her ears. She adjusted her simple black dress, one chosen not to hide but to honor the life inside her. This wasn't just about proving she still belonged on that stage, it was about leaving a legacy for the child she carried. The crowd erupted the moment she stepped into the light. Cameras zoomed in, faces glowed with curiosity, an 8-month pregnant woman walking onto one of the most competitive stages in the world. Some gasped. Others whispered. Judges leaned forward with widened eyes. Simon Cowell arched his brow, folding his arms with that skeptical smirk. Sofia Vergara clasped her hands in admiration. Heidi Klum whispered something to Howie Mandel, who nodded with intrigue. Jessica's voice trembled as she greeted them. "Good evening. My name is Jessica Sanchez. I'm 8 months pregnant, and tonight, I'll be singing Ordinary." The audience broke into applause, some standing already, inspired before she even sang a note. Still, Jessica saw the doubt flicker in some faces. Could she handle the power of the song while carrying so much weight, both physically and emotionally? She adjusted the microphone, inhaled deeply, and closed her eyes. In that breath, the stage dissolved, the lights, the whispers, the cameras. All that remained was her voice, her story, and the life inside her. The first note floated into the air like silk, fragile yet hauntingly strong. Her tone carried both exhaustion and resilience, the sound of a woman who had lived, lost, and chosen to fight again. Her voice cracked slightly in the second verse, not from weakness, but from raw emotion. The lyrics of Ordinary spilled out like pieces of her soul. Every word seemed to echo the struggles she'd faced, feeling overlooked, underestimated, dismissed. And now, here she was, carrying a child, daring the world to see her not as fragile but as extraordinary. The cameras panned to the audience. Tears shimmered in strangers' eyes. A mother in the third row clutched her child's hand. Simon's trademark smirk softened into something resembling respect. Halfway through, Jessica instinctively cradled her belly with one hand while her other gripped the microphone. Her voice swelled, stronger, richer, unstoppable. It wasn't just her singing anymore, it was a duet between mother and child, a testimony that life and music were flowing together in perfect harmony. The final chorus shook the walls. The note rang out, powerful, unbroken, defiant. Jessica stood tall, tears spilling freely down her cheeks, as the last echo faded into a silence so deep it almost hurt. For 3 seconds, the theater was frozen. No claps, no cheers, just breathless silence, as if the world needed time to process what it had just witnessed. Then, like a dam breaking, the audience erupted into thunderous applause. People rose to their feet in waves, clapping, shouting, crying. Some had their hands over their mouths. Others simply stood there, shaking their heads in disbelief. Simon Cowell, notorious for his restraint, was the first judge to stand. His applause was slow, deliberate, a rare acknowledgement of something truly special. Sofia was already wiping tears from her face. Heidi clutched her chest. Howie mouthed, "Unbelievable." Jessica couldn't stop crying. She bowed, overwhelmed, and then laughed nervously as her baby kicked inside her, almost as if applauding too. Simon leaned forward into the mic. "Jessica, I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen extraordinary things on this stage. But what you just did, 8 months pregnant, delivering one of the most moving performances I've ever heard, that was beyond extraordinary. That was historic. The other judges echoed his sentiment, showering her with words like powerful, angelic, and unforgettable. But it wasn't just the praise that mattered, it was the look on the audience's faces, a look that said, "She belongs." She always did. Jessica stumbled off stage, her body trembling, not from nerves, but from release. The adrenaline, the emotion, the weight of it all came crashing down. Her fiancé rushed to catch her, pulling her into his arms. "You did it," he whispered. "You didn't just sing. You gave her a song to remember before she's even here." Jessica pressed her hand against her belly again. "I wanted her to know that her mom never gave up. That no matter how ordinary the world tries to make us feel, we can always rise." A stagehand handed her a tissue, eyes red from crying. "That was the best performance I've ever seen in this building." Jessica smiled faintly. The roar of the crowd still echoed behind her, but inside there was a deeper, softer silence, the kind that comes after you've given every last piece of yourself and found peace in the giving. For the first time in years, Jessica felt whole. Not just as a singer. Not just as a woman. But as a mother, an artist, and a fighter who had proven that extraordinary moments can be born from the most ordinary struggles. As she walked down the hallway, lights flashing, people congratulating, she whispered again to her unborn daughter. "Welcome to your first standing ovation, baby girl."